All right. So I have another cookbook, and this one is a Jamaican cookbook, Travel in Jamaica with Knife, Fork, and Spoon. This one I bought a long time ago, and actually the pages are starting to turn a bit colored, but I don't really use it. I can't lie. In the beginning, I was so excited to have it because the recipes were authentic, but I have since learned how to make a lot of these recipes, and I also don't really mess around with too much meat and dairy and stuff like that. But I wanted to go through the book just to kind of give you some insight as to what they are talking about here. Now, in this book, they have recipes where, all right, they're talking about Montego Bay, they're talking about different areas, Kingston, Jamaicans call fish tea. Now, right here, they have something here. It says the other food we see a lot in Kingston is fish. Whole fried fish is sold by the side of the road all over town. We stop in for dinner at a restaurant called Fish Place. The Fish Place consists of picnic tables under a roof. There aren't any walls. It's a fun and funky place to sample fried fish and soup Jamaicans call fish tea. Now, I had a big brawl out with somebody, one of my exes, when I was in Mobay, because we were arguing about how to make fish soup. They call it fish tea. Sorry. Because what happened was the first time that I really had a fish soup kind of tea thing that I really enjoyed was from a friend of mine's that was from Caracal. It was a lady that also lived in England. Now she showed me how she take kingfish and she would brown it a little bit on one side, right? Take some butter inside the pot, right? Just coat the bottom of like a Dutch pot with a little butter. Season up your kingfish slices. They have kingfish steaks, they call it, right? And you brown it on each side. And then once it get browned, right, you can add your garlic in there, like make your garlic get browned. Like I usually would slice the garlic in little thin pieces. And then once it browns on both sides, now you don't have to put no flour on top of the fish. You don't need to fry. You just want it to get a little brown so you can flip it over without it breaking up inside the pot. And so what you do is you throw some water and some coconut milk, not a lot of coconut milk, but you kind of you don't want the water to be white. You want to put a little hot kettle water, kettle, water from the kettle. And they say kettle. In certain places, they say kettle. I think Jamaica is kettle, right? So you put a little bit of your coconut milk in there. Then you would put some like, what do you call it? Let me see. You can put some like really thin noodles if you want, and you can put some sweet potato in there. You could put some dumpling, of course. I don't really mess with flour nowadays, though. I don't really mess too. I love dumpling. Don't let me tell you something. Well, you know what? Let me just hold it, because I can go really far when it comes to West Indian food, period. Because the minute my palate was opened up with West Indian food, it's like the windows of heaven just opened up. I couldn't get enough. But my first introduction to Caribbean food, right, was my friend's mother. She was from Barbados. Her husband was from Jamaica, and the children was from Trinidad. And these were my childhood friend parents. This was my best friend. She was from Trinidad, and they lived next door to me. I was 11, she was 9. And we were always in and out of each other's house because our doors, like her door was here and my door was here. So we just ran in and out. If I needed flour and she had flour, I would get flour from her. If I had sugar and she needed sugar. So that's how we did back in those days. And then my other neighbor that lived right across from me, she would do the same. She just come inside there. They come, it was just a different time when people pretty much shared with each other and they understood that that's what we just do. So let me go in here. So it looks like this book have a lot of different recipes and they're like meeting up with the locals. You see this woman right here? Yeah, sorry. It's like you always have somebody like this in Jamaica, somebody that knows how to throw down or to really cook, right? And I had that experience in the very beginning because I remember my first trip to Jamaica. Now, when I went to Jamaica, that was before Stella, all right? And that was when we had an influx of Caribbean people in New York already. So really and truly, I wasn't going to Jamaica to get my groove. No, the groove was already in Brooklyn. Now, all of y'all know that back in like the late 80s and the 90s, oh my God, everybody was there. I mean, you didn't need to go to Jamaica to find a husband, but the husband found me. So therefore, I was in country up and down with the locals. And you know what? I would not have preferred it any other way. Now, I can show you a picture of my first trip to Jamaica, and I was green. I was so green. But there was a book that I had bought right before that trip. There was a book called um, Rasta and Resistance. I remember the name of the book. I don't even know why I bought the book, but there was something in me that was very curious about Rasta culture. I went and twisted up my hair and everything, and I was on this journey. And I really wanted to know how the people lived in Jamaica. I did not go there as a tourist at all, at all, at all. Now, some people go there and, they want to wear their white shorts and they want to, stay within the tourist areas and go on the beaches that's inside the tourist area now. Even though I got a hotel, um, and I was the first trip, I was in the hotel. I didn't stay on the hotel grounds. I went where the locals were. I did. I didn't want, and at the time that I was there, they were having the Miss Jamaica USA pageant. And that was over 30 something years ago. That was over 30 years ago. And I was so excited about it. And then I was able to give me some bami, right? Some bami. What was they giving me the bami with? I forgot what people love bami and they kept saying, you got to get you some bami and fried fish, some escovitch fish and some bami. But one of the things that I really had that I loved was the cold cod soup. But anyway, let me go on. So here they talking about Montego Bay, and that's where I was at when I first came there. But the next time that I came down there, I stayed in country. And country, that was an experience that I will never, ever, ever forget. Never. And one of the first things that I really remember doing when I was there was to take off my shoes and walk through the yard. I wanted to be barefoot and walk past stone. And that's what I did. And one thing I really admire was the elders. The elders. So refreshing, man. When you used to see them, and when they would in the you're talking about in the bright morning sun, them catch up under the tree and they get the wash pan and the blue, right? And the blue soap. And that bleach that I don't know if they have it now, but they used to have some really, really, really strong bleach in Jamaica. I don't know what it was, but when you wash your clothes with that bleach and that blue soap, man, oh man, that is something. But I used to try to make that sound. I know all of you know what I'm talking about. When you wash your clothes and you had a tick, 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 tick. Oh man, they say, oh, it's not the fabric and it's not the soap. I think they said it was the water. How the water and the soap does make. Yeah. I used to practice that thing. Every time I came in contact with something new from Caribbean people, I tried to master it. And one of the first things I came in contact with was the sweet bread. Mhm. My friend mother was from Trinidad. No, sorry, she was from Barbados. And she made this sweet bread. AA. This sweet bread was like a rock stone. Mhm. It didn't have, I don't remember her put no baking powder inside the sweet bread. And I tell you, if she took that sweet bread and decided say she want to beat me with the sweet bread, you would have dead because the sweet bread was kaya boom, but the best sweet bread. Hmm. I can tell you about that first experience, and I was a little girl. You know what I mean? Let me show you what she did. Now over here, I have my little spice bin. I'm gonna go through that with you. I gotta take my time with this one. Her mother came down from Barbados. Oh my God, what a ruckus, or what a mess, or it was just like a joyous time when her mother came down from Barbados, right? Oh my God, she had a sister. This is her mother. Her mother was from Barbados, and she had a sister named Maria, and then she had a sister named Harriet. Okay, so it was Harriet, Maria, and Gloria, the three girls. And they will go inside the kitchen with the mother. Mm-mm-mm. You know it's going to be some setup baking going on in the kitchen. Oh my God. You see all the coconut? Because I think the grandmother, she bought some coconut from Barbados. Mhm. And she probably carry her spice from Barbados too, because that kitchen smell like something I never smelled before. You hear me? So they would get the big bowl. You see the big bowl? And they would bust coconut with hammer. Take the coconut until the pieces broke up, broke up, broke up. It's a method. Like when you're not back home, like back home they just take, I believe, when we used to do it, they find some kind of stone or something and take the coconut and bust it on the ground. But some people know they have a way where they can crack it in a way where they don't lose the water. And then when they get a little opening, they will pour the water out carefully into a cup to make sure they don't waste it because that stuff is precious. You don't waste it. Now, you know, when it's in a jelly stage, it is getting plenty, plenty, plenty water. But when it is ripened and you get the husk, and you know when you have to pull it open and you get the coconut from out of it, and that coconut is ripe and ready, it don't have plenty water in that. But you find inside the meat is white, white, white. It well formed and it's thick, thick. That's the one you use when you make sweet bread. Oh my God. So anyway, they would get the big, big, big bowl and they would slice up the coconut after they bust it, right? They slice it in them, not small, but just break it in half probably, yeah? And get the grater and by hand will grate the coconut. Nobody was putting no coconut in no blender in no time. Mm-mm. It wasn't none of that laziness. Mm-mm. Pure grater. And you take your time. And that's the thing I love. Old time people was patient and they was very, very, very strong. They didn't they didn't have a problem with this is gonna take all day, right? They didn't have a problem with that, right? And they would take the butter and just lay it out on a countertop. The flour, the big bag of flour, all the butter, just put it out, all the spice, they will put it out. You wasn't allowed to go in that kitchen. The kitchen was packed. All three of the daughters and the mother. And they grating, 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 grating. Let me tell you something. By evening time, the house is full of, oh, such an aroma. You smelling nutmeg, you smelly butter, you smelly coconut. And see, when they made their sweet bread, they would bake 6 loaves at a time. Everybody was getting sweet bread, and I would be waiting patiently. I was the greedy neighbor, the little girl that was so happy to have met this family that introduced me to the smell of nutmeg and spice. I never smelled nothing like that before. It's a smell that coconut and nutmeg and spice, how when it all come together, how it does light up the room. But it's the sugar too, the brown sugar, all of that going together does make you feel so much joy. And I remember and then they will put raisins. Let me tell you something. This is one thing I did remember about this sweet bread, opposed to all of the other sweet bread recipes I got along the years. From this one from Trinidad. Trinidad, they just love to make sweet bread a lot. Grenada, Guyana, yeah, Grenada and Guyana does love to make sweet bread too. Jamaica, they make the spice bun. Yes, they make bulla and they make Easter bun and all of these different things. But the sweet bread, they make rock bun. Yeah, so that's kind of like sweet bread, but with Trinidad and Barbados and stuff, they just like to put cherries and stuff. And I don't too like when they put the cherries and stuff. I prefer just raisins in my stuff. I don't like my sweet bread too busy. Now, some people say, "Oh my God, you must have that." Nah, when you look back, like nowadays, is not the best, as far as this syrup and stuff. But nobody worried about those things. And it's like, okay, we're gonna have those manna whatever thing cherries. I forget what they call it. And the green and the mixed peel. Oh yeah, that's what it is. They call it the mixed peel. I ain't too crazy about it. Because I ain't really trust what they this it look like it does be like a food coloring thing on the fruit. It's not really natural. I prefer just put some raisins because I know it's really raisins in there, right? And that's the way I was taught how to make the sweet bread from my friend mother from Barbados. But one thing I notice about how they make sweet bread opposed to how other people does make sweet bread, my friend mother used to roll out that sweet bread on the countertop or put flour on the countertop like so, like this, dust it, and roll and oh, they go and they kneading it. They fighting the dough. They fighting the dough. They fighting the dough. They fighting the dough. Mm, mm, I mean, that dough was fighting back. But here I remember one time I bought me this little cookbook. I don't even know where I got this little flimsy cookbook from. It had a brown cover on it. And the recipes were kind of boring inside the thing. And I didn't really know ingredients then, and I didn't really know spice then. I was just really learning about how to cook the Caribbean way. And listen, if my mother knew how much stuff I threw inside the garbage, all rice and all kind of flour and all kind of stuff, she would be so upset because I waste a lot of food and money before I really got to know how to make this stuff. So I remember sitting down with my friend mother and I was like, Miss Daly, how you does make sweet bread? Not even how you does, because I didn't know nothing about how you does. But how you make the sweet bread, Miss Daly? Can you give me the recipe? I wanted to make that thing so bad. And I think I came pretty close, and my siblings was licking off that sweet bread. They was acting, but I was always just trying to perfect it and get it exactly like my friend mother made it. And I think the way she made it that made it so unique is that they didn't put no baking powder inside it. I don't, because it used to be hard to cut. I mean, the thing was like a rock, but it was the best sweet bread I ever tasted.